The way to describe it is it's over. And yet they still weren't calling it. Look, I get not letting Donald Trump dictate the timing. I warned that he would declare victory even if he lost. But this wasn't close. And it wasn't close for hours at that point. It wasn't until 5:30 a.m. Eastern when the other networks, the AP and even the New York Times, which had Trump's chances over 90% for 5 hours, called Wisconsin ultimately the presidency for Trump. I get wanting to be cautious, particularly given all the controversy surrounding projections in years past, like the call of Florida for Al Gore in 2000, or even Fox's projection of Arizona for Biden in 2020, which was ultimately correct, but potentially premature. But it just seemed like last night many in the media were either trying to keep the audience hooked or playing games. Joining us now, John Ziegler, conservative commentator and host of the Death of Journalism podcast. John, good to see you. So what do you think was going on?
I think that Geraldo's onto something, but I think it's deeper than that. I think it's mostly about cowardice and political bias and taking their cues from the Harris campaign instead of the Trump campaign, because let's not forget, the Harris campaign didn't concede. She didn't give a speech. She didn't give a phone call, nothing, which I think she needs to take some responsibility for, given the fact that it was very obvious that she was going to lose. The smoking gun, you did a great job documenting that, but the smoking gun that something was amiss happened early in the night when North Carolina and Georgia were not called, even though it was clear Trump was going to win them. But weirdly, the narrative on every network and from the Harris campaign was she can only win through the blue wall. Well, if she can only win through the blue wall, that means she has lost Georgia and North Carolina. So why aren't you calling Georgia and North Carolina? That was what started this domino effect. And then on the back end, we saw this hilarity where they suddenly stopped counting or stopped calling states when Trump got to 266, as if Alaska wasn't going to go to Trump because they don't want to go to the magic number of 270. So to me, this was about cowardice and then no one wanting to be the first one of the elite group of media to step out and say Trump is the president. And a lot of that, I think, had to do with political bias and taking their cues from the Harris campaign.
Right, because one of the things I thought was very valuable this year, better than even in years past, is the ability to look back county by county. How do these results compare to last year? Where does she need to be? Where does he need to be good? And she was losing that number in just about every county. It was a few here and there. Oh, she's doing okay here. But the vast majority in all of the blue wall states, right? So here we are, 11 o'clock, 11:30, and every bit of information that's coming in is, well, she's not quite getting there. She's not quite getting there. And that's what projections are about, right? Projections are about knowing the numbers, knowing which counties are still coming in, knowing which ones you have, and saying there is no path.
Well, Dan, and Decision Desk proved this very well. We have incredible technology in 2024 that we did not have, for instance, in 2000 during the Florida debacle that should avoid late calls like this. And this is not a trivial issue. This is not just not a media bias issue. This caused Donald Trump to have his victory speech at 2:30 in the morning. By the way, it was a doozy of a speech. He was clearly groggy at 2:30 in the morning, and understandably so. But this was effectively like the announcers of the Super Bowl declaring the victor after the winning team is cleaning up from their victory parade. I mean, that's the whole joy of it, the celebration and the impact of it is lost at 2:30 in the morning on the East Coast. There was no need for that, and kudos to the Decision Desk at NewsNation for doing the right thing and calling it exactly when it should have been called.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.